Welcome to lesson 6 of the tank game. Okay, so hopefully you've had a little play and you've discovered a bug in the program. Okay, this doesn't seem to work for detecting when our red tank reaches the bottom of the screen. So let's talk about how you can debug what's going on. Alright, so you see this little tab here, data. Right, so we can make variables or make a list. We're going to make a variable in this case. We're going to call this red tank Y. Okay, and it's just for this bright because we only care about the red tank right now. We're going to say okay, and we're going to say set red tank Y to. Okay, I'm going to use this, and we're going to put it in here. Let's just see. And now we're going to use our little Y position again. So go back to motion. Say Y position. So what we're going to do is basically, and you can see it's popped this little red tank Y equals 0. Okay, so let's watch what happens with our red tank with Y, and we'll see why it doesn't detect when we're at minus 180. Can you see what happened? It was never at minus 180. Okay, and the reason is because our tank moves 30 steps at a time, and it's starting at a place where if you keep adding or moving 30 steps, and as well it depends on which direction it's pointing, that it doesn't. So let's just start again. You'll see it. Okay, so depending on where it's pointing, it's going to move a little. It's going to move not exactly at a number of steps down in X or Y, in the Y direction. Okay, so it's quite often going to jump over that minus 180. So remember we were talking about using these operators and saying the less than operator or the greater than operator. So if we use this instead of the equals, and we say minus 180, now when we watch our okay, so now what's wrong? That remember this is greater than minus 180 it's always going to be greater than minus 180 because plus is greater than minus, isn't it? So what we really need is the less than. So let's use the less than operator. Minus 180. Okay, so now when we click it, it'll start moving towards the green tank. I'll just escape out the way. And if we watch the numbers, they're going minus 12, minus 39, minus 66, minus 93, minus 120, minus 140, minus 170, minus 200, and it stopped moving. Right. And remember the other part of the question that I was saying to you, to try and get this stuff to repeat, what we need to do is do a forever loop up here. Okay. And now if we restart this again, you should see that this will, when it reaches the end, jump back up to the top once it gets past minus 180. Oh, there we go. Alright, so now we have a slightly more interesting game, don't we? We're going to keep getting more red tanks appearing once they go past us and they haven't crashed into us. Another red tank's going to come out in a second and point at us. Okay, so this game now, as it is with just this code, You could now do maybe a car, you could do a racing game with a car, so different things could come out. You could make a few different tanks be popping out. But we'll move on with building our tank game in the next lesson, and we'll start adding some more features, some more functionality. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this set red tank to Y position, okay, because we don't need to use that for our debugging anymore. Okay, and just turn off that variable so we don't see it anymore up there. But it can be useful. It's just a very useful way of seeing what's happening inside your code as you're working, to try and find out with something that should work doesn't work, and to see what the computer's actually doing, to see where your code breaks. Okay, so that's one useful way of doing it. There's other ways, but I think that's probably the easiest, and it's just useful to know about making variables. Okay, we're going to use variables again later on in this game for keeping the score, so maybe that's what we'll do in the next lesson. Okay, so I'll see you in the next lesson and we'll start working on scoring.